To acknowledge our ancestors means that we are aware that we did not make ourselves, that the line stretches all the way back, perhaps to God or to gods. We remember them because it is an easy thing to forget that we are not the first to suffer, rebel, fight, love, and die. The grace with which we embrace life in spite of the pain or the sorrows is always a measure of what has gone before.
Hi, I'm Weston.
And I'm Trina. We're going to light our chalice this weekend. As we light our chalice, we share our church covenant. We promise to listen and to learn together with compassion, curiosity, and an open mind. Engage in creating a warm and welcoming community. Work together and beyond our walls to address the social and environmental challenges with our time, talent, and treasure. Support our church and its mission.
Oh, that was fabulous. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm the Reverend Pam Mrazek, and I serve the Unitarian Church in Hinsdale. And I'm here this morning just because I can be as we're celebrating our 150th anniversary. But I'm so glad to be able to spend time with you. We're taking time this morning to celebrate that very special milestone of a sesquicentennial, 150th anniversary of this church's existence in the world. That's no small feat in a world of throwaway values and decreasing commitment. It says something not only about the people here, but about the vision that was put forward so many years ago, and about the mission which keeps our community alive and vibrant in a challenging and changing world. This morning, we pause in the rush of our lives to examine what is really important in this world and in our lives, and to hold up the value and the power of love. If you enjoyed today's service, I hope you'll share it with somebody that you know who might want to be reminded that they are valuable and that they matter. And if you're watching on Zoom and can find a recording of today's services and past services on our church's YouTube channel so that you can share that with others or revisit. Now, our community has an awful lot going on, even in the midst of these pandemic. So I encourage you to visit our webpage, which is www.hinsdaleunitarian.org, and follow us on our Facebook page. We've also started a new option on the website called Community Comments. If you have something to share, please go visit and leave a comment for us along with your contact information. Sadly, because of the world what it is these days, the comments will be viewed and approved before being published. And nothing will be published without someone taking ownership of what you've written. This is a great way to stay connected, even if you do not want to go in the Facebook world. And if you have something private or a care or concern, you're always invited to call me or let the office know, and we will respond to you as soon as possible. This is just a fun way to be connected as a community. Finally, if you're new to us today and would like to receive our regular communications, you can contact the office or leave your information in the chat box today on Zoom, and we will get in touch with you and get you hooked up. Now this morning, we want to just take a moment to remember our members' intentions. Linda Rio is happy to report that she's doing much better in rehab, and the plan was that she was going to be coming home on Tuesday, which is yay. So she's very grateful for all the support she's received from our community so far. And Michaela Scoville-Durante is struggling a bit after having some pretty intense oral surgery. She would love to get some cards, text, or support to keep her text up, even though she can't talk quite yet. So because we've kind of moved beyond our neighborhood-based caring circles during the pandemic, we have set up meal trains for both Linda and Michaela. So a meal train is a website where you can sign up to provide meals for a day, and you could cook something home cooked from your kitchen, or you could buy a gift card and they can just have something delivered from a restaurant. And that's a way for all of us in community just to help support one another. So that information is in news and notes, or you can contact the office and we'll get it to you. Now, a little later in the service, we'll hold a space for meditation and prayer. If you need some more support right now, or know of someone who does, please type your intention in all caps, because that will alert us to look for it in the chat box, or let us know through the website so we can help you. Finally, one bit of sadness. The weather has been so beautiful for so long, but we were planning on having our animal blessing out on the lawn, and the weather is just not cooperating today. So we are going to push that back, and we will celebrate Bless Our Animals next year, probably in April, when the weather is a little bit more predictably nice. But right now, I want to bless all of the animals and pets that are out there with you today, and know that we hold them in our hearts. Now we have a hymn that was written by the first minister of this church, the Reverend William Channing Gannett, and it will be sung by our own John Copewriter.
Cloisters of the Spirit, these isles of quiet lead. Here shall the vision gladden, the voice within us plead. Here be no man a stranger, no holy cause be banned. No good for one be counted, not good for all the land.
Hi friends, This week's tool out of our toolbox of faith is a compass. The compass represents integrity. Integrity means doing what's right. Integrity is our inner moral compass. Unitarian Universalism is a faith that will help you find ways to decide what is right and to stand up for what is right, even in confusing times. Just like the compass, whose needle is always pointing north, each of us has an inner voice which can help us to determine what is right. This week, pay close attention to your internal moral compass. Which way is your needle pointing?
Unitarian Church of Hinsdale, History Through the Lens of the Unity Men by Reverend Ed Cyril. What we call history is in the eye of the beholder, and moreover, the beholder sees what she or he needs, wants to see. With this in mind, how might we interpret the facts of this institution, the Unitarian Church of Hinsdale, and arrange those facts to tell a story? One way of looking at our church's history is to focus on the influence of the Unity Men, who represented the radical impulse circa 1880 with American Unitarianism. This church was founded as a mission church of the Unity Men. It was originally named the Unity Church. The great lion of the Unity Men was Jenkin Lloyd Jones, the head of a Unitarian Welsh clan that had settled in south-central Wisconsin near Spring Green. Frank Lloyd Wright, whose mother was part of this family, referred to this imposing Unitarian clergy as Uncle Jenk. Jenkin Lloyd Jones preached the dedication ceremony here in January 1887. Prominent among the Unity Men was this church's first minister, William Channing Gannett. Gannett had an impeccable Boston pedigree. William Ellery Channing was his godfather. His own father, Ezra Stiles Gannett, became the first president of the American Unitarian Association in 1825. However, William Channing Gannett identified with the radical Emissarian wing. His pedigree and his predilection made him the perfect author of the document that the Christians and the theists could agree to settle that 19th century controversy. The Unitarian men's influence can be traced through several historical themes here. The building incorporates a church and a home. Its features, a living room with a fireplace to represent the centrality of the family, and an auditorium with a second fireplace to represent the flow of family into the auditorium, representing church and society, is theology incorporated into architecture. Yes, the room was named the auditorium to suggest that it served ecclesiastical and community purposes. The dedication hymn written by Gannett, "Here be no man a stranger," expressed the aspiration that this be hospitable for all. The Unity Men's influence can be traced to this congregation's ongoing commitment to the world religion. Jenkin Lloyd Jones is credited with the idea and the practical administration of the Epical World Parliament of Religions in 1893. Here, the heyday of this approach took place in the post-Second War era, when Sundar Joshi was minister. The murals of 6 great world religions that for a decade and a half resided on the wall behind this pulpit now hang in Joshi Auditorium. These points of view do not exhaust the ways that the history of this church might be interpreted. My intention in presenting them is to insinuate the richness here, and that you and I, we, belong to a succession that has created and continues to create a unique congregation. Each generation has immersed itself in the stream of time, so this historic Unitarian Church of Hinsdale is a living witness to an evolving, free, liberal, religious tradition like no other. Thus ends the reading.
Breathing in, I enjoy my in-breath. Breathing out, I enjoy my out-breath. Enjoying in-breath, enjoying out-breath. Breathing in, I become mindful of my heart beating, sending blood and new oxygen to every part of my body. Breathing out, I smile to this life flowing inside me, aware of heart beating, smiling to life flowing through me. Breathing in, I feel my in-breath bringing life to every cell of my body. Breathing out, I feel my out-breath deepening my awareness of being alive. In-breath, bringing life to every cell. Out-breath, deepening my being alive. Breathing in, I know that my heart beating is also the heart of my ancestors, with all their dreams, joy, happiness, strength, and courage. Breathing out, I'm determined to continue to nourish this heart for them and for me. My heart, the heart of my ancestors, determined to continue their joy, courage, and strength. Breathing in, I know that my heart beating is also the heart of my ancestors with all their fears, sadness, hunger, anger, hatred, and discrimination. Breathing out, I am determined to practice to transform the afflictions of my ancestors in my own heart. My heart, the heart of my ancestors, determined to transform their afflictions. Breathing in, I am aware of the very many hearts that are beating with me this morning, bringing life, blood, and oxygen to many parts of many bodies. Breathing out, I smile to this life flowing all around me, aware of the many hearts around, smiling to the life flowing all around. Breathing in, I am aware that all of these hearts are the hearts of many ancestors with their joys and dreams and suffering. Breathing out, I am determined to learn to embrace, accept, and love all of the people around me. Hearts around, the hearts of many ancestors, determined to embrace, accept, and love. Breathing in, I am aware of the heart of the earth under and all around me, beating in the trees, the rocks, grass, water, birds. Breathing out, I take refuge in the heart of the earth, in her love, strength, forbearance, and creativity, always bringing forth new life. Aware of the heart of the earth, taking refuge in the earth. Now is the time in our service when we share from our abundance and our want. Each month, this church has shared one complete offering from some good work group doing amazing work out in the world. But unfortunately, since the pandemic, that offering has dropped to nearly 10% of what we used to be able to share. In response, our Social Justice Committee has asked that we remind you each week about our shared plate recipients in the hope that we can continue giving them as much as we did before. Now, please do not feel that you have to give more than once. Just know that we are doing our best to share our resources with those in a hurting world. For October, our recipient is the Unitarian Universalist Advocacy Network of Illinois, or UUNI. Here is a message from the interim minister of UUNI, the Reverend Kay Mooney. In full disclosure, she's also my wife, but this group was not chosen by me. It's chosen by our Social Justice Committee. Kay Mooney is serving until the Reverend Scott Asang returns from his sabbatical. Now, Kay will share the good work of UUNI.
Hi, Kay Mooney here with the Unitarian Universalist Advocacy Network of Illinois. UUANI powers the social justice work of congregations. We provide people across Illinois with advocacy and legislative leadership to effectively build community and power to promote justice and a healthy planet. We bring social justice into the heart of the spiritual life of congregations and develop ways for church communities to live our UU principles. We help bridge communities and congregations and align spirituality with tangible actions to affect change. Since 2013, we have worked to ensure that those pieces of legislation that are near and dear to you, those places where you know you want to see change within the world, are at your fingertips. We've worked with organizations like Faith in Place and ICER, the Illinois Coalition of Immigrant and Refugee Rights, to make sure that we know about the legislation that's going into the Illinois Legislative House and Senate, and so that you can act on that legislation as you wish, and so that you can get down to Springfield when it's possible to be able to talk to your legislators and ensure that they know how you feel about the bills that they are working on. Our goal at UUANI is to help you advocate for substantive change in those areas that you care about. We thank you for your support. As President Obama reminded us in his Nobel acceptance speech, for all the cruelty and hardship in our world, we are not prisoners of fate. Our actions matter and will bend history in the direction of justice. Bend with me, folks. Bend that arc of history. Thank you for your support.
Hi, I'm Bob Daniel Wayman, serving on the board of the Unitarian Church of Hinsdale. This is the time in our service when we remember the good things this church does in the world and invites you to help support our work. You can go to our website, www.hinsdaleunitarian.org, and click on the donate button, or you can simply send your check to the church office. Now, even though we can't be together right now, I invite you to say our offering words together. This church is made up of all of us. It is what we learn together, the work we do together, the fun we have together. It is what we share with one another, with the people around us, and with all the world.
All Who Have Gone Before Us by Leslie Takahashi. We bring into our hearts all those who have gone before us, all those whose living in this world has prepared the soil for our living, all those whose being has enabled our being. Let us also remember those whose existence is seated in our lives today. Not only those who are our physical descendants, but also those whose spirits inherit the love we sow, the hope we reap, the promise we harvest, and may those of us whose religious inheritance is freedom never rest until all who wish to be its children are sheltered. Thus ends the reading.
Hello, everybody. This weekend was supposed to have been a full-on celebration of the sesquicentennial of the Unitarian Church of Hinsdale. But you know, COVID. Our anniversary committee wisely decided that it would be better to postpone our full celebration until next year, trusting that we'll be together to laugh and share and honor all of those stories that we've been passed down to from these past 150 years. And there have been some humdingers, like the minister who ran off to Nevada with the organists, planning on getting divorced from their current spouses so they could get married. Something didn't quite work out, so he came back to the church asking for his old job back. They politely said, no, thank you. There's other interesting stories and details, like the fact in 1944, Charles J. Foster, the president of the Canning Association, brought canning machinery here into the church. And at the charge of 5 cents a can, Hinsdale residents could preserve the contents of their victory gardens. Men and women alike took turns cooking and canning and producing produce to help them get through those lean times. There was also a quartet from the Chicago Symphony Orchestra that gave a concert here at the church once a year because the acoustics were so good and they had such a great response from the community. And there's also that story about the potluck that was hosted in 1970 with a discussion titled Everything You Ever Wanted to Know About Sex But Was Afraid to Ask. It's noted that over 70 people attended for a free exchange of ideas. This must have been a forerunner to our whole lives sexuality program. History is a lot of fun. It is interesting to read that in 1888, ladies of the church served an election day luncheon for voters near the polling place over on Washington Street. And they kept their table open until 1 a.m., netting a great sum for 1888 of $90. Wow. You heard earlier that the church was originally called Unity Church and only became the Unitarian Church in 1887 when the building was dedicated. There are pages and pages of interesting facts about our church that have been researched and collected by our anniversary committee, and we are so grateful for the good work and sorry that the celebration has to be pushed back for such a long time. Because knowing our history is important. On one hand, it's fun to ooh and ah and chuckle over the quaint details and marvel at the big things our ancestors accomplished. It is right and good to do these things and honor the example that they set for us. But it's also important for another reason. Knowing our history helps to ground ourselves in the living faith tradition, to understand that each and every group of people that came and sat in these chairs faced challenges and overcame obstacles. They were human beings just like us, who committed themselves to keeping this church going, sometimes thriving, sometimes barely hanging on by a thread, but always making it through whatever challenges it faced, just like we are doing today. How did they do it? They learned together. They took care of one another. They looked beyond themselves to the larger world. They were brave enough to step outside the assumptions and status quos that they were living within and try and figure out what was real and true for them in their particular time and their particular circumstances, just like we try to do today. Now, some of them just came for the good food or the regular square dancing that were held up here in the auditorium. That's why the chairs can all be pushed back. Some came for the local symphony concerts. But many, if not most, came because this was the one place in their lives which offered them space to contemplate the larger questions of life. The Unitarian Church of Hinsdale is a place to remember and reclaim the values that we hold dear. It's a place to be reminded by people we know and trust and respect of who we really want to be. Here, we pause to ponder the mysteries of life. Pause to remember that we only have one chance, one short space of time on this earth, and we ought to live it deliberately. Like our ancestor Henry David Thoreau so eloquently wrote, there are all kinds of ways to be the fully human people we are called to be, but we have to make space in our lives to be stretched and engaged and transformed. And that is what the Unitarian Church of Hinsdale has been offering to people for 150 years. We continue to celebrate our past. And next fall, trusting that we are able to gather safely again together, we will throw one humdinger of an anniversary party. But for now, we will continue to make this space, even though it's virtual, a place of pause, a place of rejuvenation and connection and contemplation, hopefully offering a moment of respite and a kindly reminder that you are not alone. You have a community with you, facing just one more of the ongoing challenges of being alive in this world. And together, we will make it through this one too. We now have a very special offering for everyone, which both appreciates the past and celebrates what we have right now. Pam Fodor is going to introduce our new welcome video, which was created by Ashley Kennedy with the contributions and support of David Mrazek. We are so grateful to both of you for your amazing work.
It brings me great joy to introduce the next part of worship. For several years, the membership committee has wanted to have a special church video to use as a marketing tool to help us introduce the Unitarian Church of Hinsdale to others. We dreamed and researched and discussed how we would like others to see who we are. It took a year of interviews and editing, but it is finally finished. We are incredibly grateful to our producer, Ashley Kennedy, who spent countless hours writing thoughtful questions, taping interviews, and considering important moments to showcase our UCH in the best light, and for David Mrazek, who helped in the editing process. Their hard work, dedication, and love for our church shows in this video. Thank you to them, to the membership committee, and to all of you. We are the Unitarian Church of Hinsdale. Enjoy.
We each have a dignity in our ideas, and this is a place to explore them, to change them, to identify them, debate them. That's what this religion is all about.
Everything that you learn, every challenge that you face, every celebrate leads you to finding your truth. And as you grow and mature and change, your faith can change too.
What I love about Unitarian Universalism is that it's looking at how do we make those teachings, those immutable truths alive in this particular moment for this particular group of people, and how do we live that in a way that is authentic and real.
When we leave church, when do we march?
It's the kind of atmosphere that makes you use your wonderful mind.
It's the diversity of opinions that are freely shared. It's without judgment. Everybody listens to everybody's ideas.
Our previous minister had a saying, "We are kindred souls on the journey of life," and that sustains me very much.
It's like a little mini family reunion every Sunday to see everybody. One of the best parts is greeting people, shaking their hands and saying, "You're welcome here."
It's a smaller church. Some people I've known who've joined our church have joined because we are a smaller community, and we are intentional about not only helping each other and supporting each other, but it gives us a little more direction within the community for things that we can do here.
It's built as a home. And it's family. It's everything. It's the environment, it's the people, it's the messages, the history. The history of the church is incredible.
It's been here for a very long time. It's very historic, as we are preparing for our 150th anniversary. It gives us a sense of history in place.
I love that members that have been here for a long time embrace the new members in a way that's not cliquish, that everyone believes that everybody has something to share.
The church makes a great effort to be welcoming to anyone, no matter what they look like, no matter where they're from, no matter what their first language, no matter who they love.
You'll have an interesting conversation that somebody will approach you and ask you about yourself, and you'll be invited back. So not in a pushy way, but in a you're welcome way.
And I think the Unitarian Church has a lot to offer the world in terms of being accepting and understanding, or at least trying to understand how other people feel about things.
I think our growing edge is to be learning about ourselves so that we can learn about ways how to be more welcoming to other people, what other people might need. Because I might know what I need, but I might not be able to even imagine. So if I do more work internally, then I can imagine being welcoming to more people.
Last week I talked about my Catholic faith of origin, where that broken and bloody God up on the chancel welcomed everyone's brokenness. Here in Unitarian Universalism, we usually focus more on our commonalities of experience, and we uphold the belief in the worth and dignity of every person, no matter their race or creed or political persuasion. But this focus on commonality can unconsciously enforce a group identity that might not serve us, because it doesn't make room for people who do not wish to assume that group identity.
In Sunday services, there's always a message that makes one think. It's never comfortable. You don't come and hear the same let's feel good about ourselves sermon every time. There's a challenge, and sometimes it's an intellectual challenge, sometimes it's an emotional challenge, sometimes it's a call to action.
Yeah, you're going to run the gamut. I mean, you could laugh, you could cry, you could read something and all of a sudden it'll bring tears to your eyes because it's so profound.
I want to come every week, so it's funny that I have friends of other faiths that say, oh, you're so good, you go. I was like, no, I like to go. For me, it's like setting a reset button.
I do feel recharged at the end of every service. I feel enlightened in a way that I hope will help me in my efforts to be a better person.
I do love Reverend Pam and the fact that we have those uncomfortable conversations about everything, about race, social activism, the political climate.
I find her sermons to be thought-provoking, stimulating, hopeful, and they're courageous. You know, there are topics, as you used, that we are just not afraid to get into. Or if we are, we're, you know, kind of all holding hands and jumping in together.
It gives us the motivation to read about things and learn about things ourselves. So in terms of what she's brought to the church, she also has brought us that sense of social action. One of her first activities was the Black Lives Matter movement, because it was just heating up when she came. And we spent a year really studying the whole approach. Everything we do, which she leads, is very purposeful.
I find that Reverend Pam's messages always touch my heart, which is, I think, something that our congregation has needed and has actually helped enliven our congregation.
She challenged us to open up our minds and look at the world differently.
We believe these are the important issues in our society, and we want to be involved, and the church provides a platform for that kind of involvement.
So there's like so many different ways that people find ways to be engaged here and to do that work that calls to their heart and to make a difference in the world. So we have people that are, you know, doing anti-racism work. We have people that are doing green work on so many different levels. We have folks that are working with mental health issues.
We've chosen a few topics that we are out making a difference in the world, being an example ourselves, and also getting outside each individual's comfort zone and confronting the problems that we have. We're out there changing ourselves first and trying to change the world.
I really believe that we have to do the hard work of saying what is the core of Unitarian Universalism. What is the thing that's going to support people when they're feeling lost, when they're feeling scared, when they're feeling joyful? What is that thing that this faith can do to support people no matter where they're at? And we have people that are studying Buddhism, we have people that are of Jewish heritage, We have people that, various different Christianities that are here. And then of course we have our humanists and our atheists who, want community and want a place where they can, really wrestle and struggle with those deeper questions of life, but that they don't have to ascribe to this vision of a God that somebody else created.
That's what this religion is all about. It doesn't focus on a deity. The deity is in each of us.
Well, I think the fact that you can be a moral and an ethical person without that belief in the supernatural, and the fact that this church, therefore, then focuses on character and how you live is the most important thing. And so I feel the people here are very authentic and try to live their belief.
I founded the choir, the singers, and have been a part of bringing other musicians into the church for years.
I was the first member of our chorus back in the mid-'70s when Julia Beckman decided to start up the chorus. And so music is really important to me.
For me, music is an integral part of every worship service because it's such a way of opening your heart and allowing something to come in that you might not have noticed otherwise. From traditional things that make some people feel really comfortable and familiar to a little bit out there music to when Jamie goes wild at the end of the service and plays something. It's just so much fun. That just gives me such great joy to watch them.
The things that we do in this church in terms of educating youth to run the world one day are just phenomenal. And I really truly believe it takes a village to raise your child. And this group of people is very authentic and genuine in wanting to help our youth.
Everybody listens to everybody's ideas, and that's really not something that happens, I think, in too many places, especially for high school students. But it's just something about the openness and the willingness to listen that really makes at least the youth group very special.
We start introducing the concept of the spirit of love and mystery that some people call God. And we use that term in our very young RE program, not in the context of doctrine or dogma or this is the way it is, but always in the context of wonder and questioning.
The little kids they need some concrete things to hold on to, and so we're able to give them spirit play or a way to wrestle with ideas and questions that make sense to them at their age level. We don't tell our kids how things work, we just tell them that there are deeper truths and that they can help find it because they are spiritual beings as well.
Children are loved and accepted and respected here. They do lots of activities with youth from around the district, so they get to know other UUs.
Especially as high school students, everything moves really fast in just throughout the week, and there's so much happening in such a short period of time that when we finally come here, everything I don't want to say slows down, but it feels very anchored.
Pam, our director of programs, is so amazing, and she creates such a wonderfully welcoming space for our kids and our youth. And the fact that we have, I think we have 21 senior youth in our senior youth program right now, which is just astounding. There are churches that are 3 times our size that don't have that many kids in their youth program. And I think it's because we really offer our kids a place where they're seen and they're heard and they can hang out together and they can explore things. And this is a safe place to be them, and they know the adults here respect them.
We're not a religion that's stayed in a particular area. We're not just world religion people. We're not just humanists. We're not just social activists. We're many, many things. And that makes it exciting. It's been a trip, and it's a journey.
And now, may we have faith in life to do wise planting, that the generations to come may reap even more abundantly than we. May we be bold in bringing to fruition the golden dreams of human kinship and justice. This we ask, that the fields of promise become fields of reality. Amen.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of its truth, the warmth of this community, nor the fire of our commitment. These we carry in our hearts and share with all the world.
We close with the words from the Reverend Ed Searle. Always there is a beginning, a new day, a new month, a new season, a new year. Forever the old passes away, and newness emerges from the richness that was. Nothing is ever lost in the many changes that time brings. What was in some ways will be, though changed in form. Always there is a beginning, a new day, a new month, a new season, a new year. Here at UCCH, there will be a new chapter in the history and life of the Unitarian Church of Hinsdale. May it live to bless the world for another 150 years of growth and change and heroic love. Amen, and blessed be.
Hi, everyone. What an interesting year it has been. Many things have changed. We are doing all kinds of things differently here at church, but many things are still up and running. Our virtual Sunday services, meetings, classes, and social groups continue to connect us all. The building is open, and the support groups that share our space continue to minister to each other. And the tutoring school is helping children keep up with online learning. Your staff is continuing to work to keep in touch with the needs of the church membership. All of these things have not changed, and it is important work to keep them going. Late last spring, our congregation passed a budget for the year that included $13,000 worth of fundraising money. Without this income, we cannot have a balanced budget, so we need to work together to make this happen. This invitation is for you to join our Zoom Raiser. Our Zoom Raiser will be on November 21st from 7 to 9, and of course, it will be on Zoom. This fundraiser will be a virtual goods and services live auction event with great items and services to bid on, games, and a little silliness. We need you to help make this event a success. You should have received a letter in the mail this past week highlighting some of the items that we would like to collect in order to auction off. If you can give even the smallest little thing, that will make a huge difference. Keep waiting and reading your news and notes and your touchstone for more information. We're excited to bring you this great way to be together and to support our church. Thanks, everyone.